Good morning, boys and girls, men and women and children, and all you lovely people out in Tinternet land. I think, even though I say so myself, that might be one of the most smooth and fluid transitions from the holding page to going live. I think I've managed to not give people about 15 minutes of listening to the intro sequence music.
Why was that sometimes you watch it back and it's flat for a very long while? And, oh, we're on. Right, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's going on here? Well, you live and learn. I'm sure there are lots of lovely people who make great effort to kind of give you guidance for these things. Unfortunately, some of them talk with a really kind of tinny voice, and I just can't. So I manage about 30 seconds of helpful tip video, and I go, no, I just can't do this anymore. No, stop. I'm going to watch Love Island because it's somehow better.
Is it that bad?
It says some of them are. Some of them are. There was one video particularly with and we'll come on to this with doing the 3D printing and stuff. There was one video on the write up for it and the reviews. I thought, oh, this is a guy I really need to listen to. And the wee fellow's with me, and I think we managed about 45 seconds. And I mean, don't and this is not meant as offensive. American accents are as varied as the Irish accents and everything else, but there are certain pitches of voice where it's just like knives in your head. And I looked at him and he looked at me like, no, just make him stop. Make the bad man stop. So I made the bad man stop. He wasn't a bad man. He actually looked like quite a cheerful and pleasant fella, but it hurt. It hurt.
I don't do many YouTube bits and pieces. I probably should, but I don't tend to use it much as a music sometimes. I don't tend to get the time to sit down and watch things like that. I should have them on in the background while I'm pottering away in the office.
Well, yeah, this is what I find with it. I tend to, especially, fun enough, with doing more live streaming on it, I'm watching more live streams now. Yeah. And I'm finding a lot of previously, and it's the weird thing. We would do a lot of videos, and when we chat to each other, it's like we watch almost none. And I'm like, why are we making videos if we're not even wanting to watch them? And a couple of guys said, well, it's what they're about. It's like, I like what we do because it's like having a cup of tea with your mate down the street. Oh, all right, okay.
Yeah, we're just buggering about, basically, aren't we? So
well, yeah, but, every so often that little bugger about touches on something. But it is nice. I mean, Justin particularly and Cy, when they were over at the last Essen Spiel, like, the size Essen, the volume of people. And Justin's like, people from, like he says, I don't even know what country they were from. And they would come up, oh, you're the wee gamers. I'm doing some sort of mockery accent. It's just generic European mockery now instead of anything else. But he was like, the number of people coming up, going, seeing the shirt and going, oh yeah, you're the wee gamers, we watch you and all this. And he was like, what? Why? We're a bunch of arses in Ireland talking rubbish. But seemingly...
I get a little bit of that when people come to the shows as well. Why do you want to speak to me? I don't understand it. But it's... people get excited, don't they?
Speaking of Justin and Simon, of course, the first two comments, they're up out of their beds this morning and they're watching us. So hello, Simon and Justin.
Morning. I've got to say, actually, I might be segueing very professionally here. Happy birthday to Martin Murray of War Bases today. 50 years old today, God love him. Happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday. Very good. I'll tell you what, we'll make a point today of getting a couple of War Bases posts shared onto the big page as well. since
Well, he's cutting all of these secret bases, you see.
Yeah, well, since Mr. Duffy and Mr. Morrison are watching, perhaps they could undertake making sure to do a couple of those shares for us whilst we're chatting about Mad Dog stuff here. Right. So speaking about Mad Dog stuff, and I've got a couple of different places that I'd love to start. Got a couple of different places I'd love to finish, but we're probably never going to see those. I suppose the most important one is, and this strikes me as important because you are, I don't like to say a small businessman, but like, you know, you're not Warlord Games. Okay.
Much closer to the camera. I'm about 12 inches high, really.
As I was once
a long way away. I'm just that. Yeah.
These ones are close up. Those ones are far away. Yeah.
Exactly it.
I know you too, for your height, have suffered some of the compliments that I've received for my weight. The best of which being, well, at least you're tall. You carry it well.
Bury the knife in your back.
Yeah, whatever the flick that means. No, Justin's still not out of bed. He's in bed with us. Yes, he is indeed.
Very gentle. That's what I've always said.
Well, we'll go easy, Justin. We're still only on our second cup of coffee, dude. So we'll try and keep it easy. No. You being a small businessman, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
One can't help but notice, aside from the standard global pandemic, which is still going on, though apparently we don't all care about that much anymore. It's all fine. Carry on.
We're with that now.
Yeah, you know. Trivia. Go back to work. Send the kids to school. It'll all be fine. Postage costs.
Oh God.
Yeah, I thought that might be the reaction from you. And if this is a sore point and it's something you prefer not to talk about.
No. It's I've always tried to keep it as flat as possible. So I'm charging the basic rate in there and a little bit to cover the cost of the envelopes, and that doesn't always work, just because of the vagaries of how the website's kind of set up. It goes up every now and again, and I think I've probably increased it a couple of times. Normally this time of year. We knew that the US were doing something, that they were coming out of a kind of a postal union kind of deal.
The global thing.
Yeah. Basically, I think, if I understand it correctly, each country signs up to this deal to kind of cover the costs of the last part of the journey within their country that their postal service will have to undertake, I think.
Yeah.
So they sign up to keep that fair and balanced. For reasons best known to the administration, the US have decided to come out of that. So we knew that was going on. I knew there was going to be a post rise. I think about a month ago, it was before I did the Argonauts Kickstarter Pledge Manager, I had to put them up slightly by about 50p because the US had gone up, and small parcels jumped up quite a bit. And I thought, oh, that's a bit pricey, and I had to sort of reflect that in the postage bands. But they've now probably come out of the union, and from the 1st of July, they've gone up massively.
Yeah.
It's mainly small parcels. So if it's heavy and it's big, basically, and not a small packet of something, that's where it's really stinging. So at the moment, for me to send the box set as a flat rate through my franking machine to the States is still, I think, about 18 quid anyway. It's quite pricey, but I can't do a lot about that. But it's going up to like 27 quid.
Yeah. That's things.
Yeah, and there isn't, it's basically an ideological reason, really, rather than that's the cost of it. Because I can send it, if I was on the Canadian-US border and I decided to send it to Canada rather than sending it to the States, it's not costing any more. So I put something on the 7TV Productions page, really just to kind of gauge reaction from a vaguely friendly audience in there. And I think most people went, yeah, we know it's not your fault. But I can't suck that. I can't suck like 33% up.
No, because I'm not trying to pry into your finances, but one does imagine that a chap what essentially runs his business out of the room above his garage is
Quick is the garage.
yeah, but this is the thing. It's not like you can turn around to a trade partner or very easily turn around to like a third party and say, well, can you hold more stock for me? Because you're literally kind of producing to meet demand.
A lot of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we hold a decent, a small amount of stock here. It's not so bad on the ball games actually, because we mass produce those in one go. But most of the lead and the other stuff, yeah, pretty much producing for demand. So it's tricky. And I have had a couple of people kind of talk to me about or approach me in the last week or so, saying, could we distribute over there? That's probably the solution. But I just want to see how much it's going to affect orders and affect people, from the States. Putting nothing to start off with before I jump straight into something. That's probably the easiest way. I've already got a few stockists in the States anyway. So we'll have to see how it goes. But
it's not easy.
No, not really. For that, I'd probably say 40-50% of my orders might come from the States. There's a lot of Anglophiles out there who kind of like the more kind of retro stuff.
Yeah.
In there, so you're gonna have to see how much that's going to have an impact on the business. So between that, COVID, and whatever kind of comes out the back of it with a kind of recession in there, you're kind of going, let's just be tentative about what we do really at the moment.
Yeah, let's maybe time to start brushing up on those skills for unboxing things and putting them on shelves or flipping burgers or something to it. Just in case. But that is the scary reality, because it's something that I've seen. It's not just crooked dice. I've seen other. I feel bad using the term small business, but I don't think anyone is going to misinterpret what I mean there.
You're a micro business, if anything.
Yeah, but the likes of Bacchus as well is another one. Now, granted, smaller things and all this, but it hits, and that's, you're left with that choice of do I hit it out of my pocket, and that makes what you do even harder and even less rewarding and less return for it? Do you pass it on to the customers and inevitably see a drop in either what they order or a drop in how often they order, because it becomes a thing of, oh well, it's that time of the year, I'll order from Crooked Dice.
Yeah, so and that might balance itself out over time. But I had a couple of people comment on the thread about go in with a bigger company, but bigger companies offer discounts or don't charge us that on shipping. Well, that's because they're a big company, because they can talk to a courier and guarantee that they're going to be getting, I don't know, 1,000 parcels a month or something, and then get kind of a discount on that. And I'm unfortunately just not that size and don't have that kind of or punching power to be able to kind of offer stuff like that. Unfortunately,
you can't argue like for like there, because even to compare yourself with a couple of guys down the road, when you have offices in a couple of different countries, it improves your distribution, your communication. If you've got manufacturing, even if your manufacturing is only in one place in the UK, the very fact that you're producing multiple product lines means that cost is a pallet going across that's a range of games or miniatures for a range of customers, whereas you are niche. There's no other way to put it. You're your own thing. You sail your own ship, Captain.
It might be cheaper to just buy my own ship.
Yeah, it might be. No, it did hit me, because I well remember, and I still see it, where, to talk about the local gaming store, I hate that term flags, because it just sounds like flags over here, but friendly local gaming store. Your local gaming store, if they've got your thing on the shelf for £12, but Bob has it online for $11.99 and free postage, I've seen it where people will buy it because it's cheaper online.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure it's not going to get any easier, but you feel it in your pocket first, don't you? So I kind of get where you want to get the cheapest, but that's why we've got eBay, and Amazon in there. People will always want to bargain, and we'll kind of go for that. I get it. But yeah, it's whether you kind of make that choice. Do I support my local bookshop up the road, or do I buy it from Amazon?
Which, and you'll be impressed, this segues fluidly into the next topic of conversation, which is, of course,
We're getting so much better than this.
3D printing.
Oh.
Do you see what I did there?
Yeah, consummate professional is what you are.
I'm a what? Oh, consummate. Sorry. So yeah, talking about people wanting a bargain and wanting to save a penny or two.
Yeah.
3D printing. So obviously, there I am, very fortunate once again, sitting with the use of a 3D printer. And I've shown you what a couple of things that I've done. I've obviously done this. Well, most of them are actually out of reach now. Ironically, right? Here's two things that aren't okay, and these are relevant to crooked dice. Okay, so for the people at home, you're a Doctor Who fan.
I am.
Right. Do you remember the Pertwee story? I can't remember the name of it, but he goes to visit the prison. Prison's kind of in an old castle, and the master's involved, and it's Dr. Kreller.
Is it the island Sea Devils if he's gone to a prison?
No, it's the one where Dr. Kreller's trying to take the evil out of inmates.
Mind of Evil.
Mind of Evil. Do you remember the Kreller machine?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to hold it up to the camera for you. Okay.
Oh, nice. I think that prop turns up quite a lot in other things as well. I think it's often in the background.
It got recycled. I'm putting it on the big camera here for the boys and girls at home. Okay. That is the Kreller machine. I think we can agree, something akin to 28mm scale, because it was big in the show.
Yeah.
I have, conveniently beside me, this
I'm now updating with things. I can see that in a bit more detail now. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So you've got that from Shapeways or Thingiverse or something like that?
Got that from Thingiverse. Now, here's the thing. That's not an STL for a 28mm miniature.
Right.
That's an STL for a toy accessory for a 7.5-inch action figure.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And I shrank it.
And it works perfectly.
Because you can actually print this part in like a clear resin, and you can even print the little brain out in a pink resin or whatever and put it in there.
Is the clear resin slightly better quality? Is that?
Do you know? No, it seems to be. Now, this is a layman, so if anyone out there, Justin, if you're still watching, you can maybe throw in on this. From my understanding, the colour or types of the resin is more about sometimes the physical property of what that resin can do, and literally the fact that it's clear or it's coloured.
So if you want it to basically match the original, if that's a glass tube.
You could be printing, like, I was looking at the Agonizer device from the original Star Trek series, and the fascia, and it's kind of red, it's like a clear sort of red thing, and you could print the bulk of it in your grey or your black resin, and then you could print the dome in the red resin, and it would literally be ready to pop on and go.
Because if you buy different filaments or materials, basically.
Yeah. And your quality of finish seems to be largely down to either the number of pixels or polygons or blocks in the file that you've got, and then the resolution that you print out. Well, the resolution that you print out is the number of lines you use. The more lines you use, the more gentle a curve you can make. Yeah. Essentially.
From my world, it's no different from printing, really. It's the equivalent of printing a 72 DPI picture or a 300 DPI picture. Your quality is just going to get better, I guess.
Well,
I've had a couple of conversations that run stuff with me, but I am really ignorant about most of it, to be honest with you.
I'm finding it really hard to hand and eye coordinate here with this camera, but there's the Dalek Transmat device. Now, I don't know if you'll see it, but in there is the circuit boards for the back of it.
Right, I'm just catching up now. Yeah, that's cool. Right,
yeah, you can actually see the buttons in there.
I can't see lines. That might be the screen, but I can't really see lines or anything on that. That's always been my. I think it's 3D printing is absolutely fantastic for really large bits of terrain, but it's just financially impossible for you to be able to, cast that and sell that in resin. But you can get a Razor Crest for 30 or 40 quid or something.
Yeah.
In there. You could never, it cost you 3 times that much to actually put that into production.
Oh yeah, because if you wanted to keep churning that out even on the printer, you would have to be in a position where you could, from what I can see, lower the resolution count or raise your price to cover what you're doing with it. But of course, once you've made one really nice resin one on a resin printer, you can take a mold from it. So you can literally become your own little cottage industry too. You know, I print off a Star Trek badge, I make a mold of the Star Trek badge, I start casting the Star Trek badge in whatever.
Yeah.
But it does. That was the other thing then, because obviously the other thing that I was playing with was, and this is where it's 7TV to the home. I've made myself a TARDIS interior.
Because there are, again, I only know vaguely about this, but there are countless places where you can get files from, like Thingiverse and Shapeways and stuff like that. And I'm assuming they've got thousands of different bits and pieces on that. Yes, roundels. Brilliant.
Yes, roundels. No, you know, some of it worked better than others. I mean, the door, there's a bit of a sheen because I didn't wash the piece properly, but I'm fairly sure that once I print, or once I get that undercoated and whatnot, the sheen will come off it and it'll all work. But again, that was a set that somebody designed for action figures. But now it's 28mm scale for my needs. This was the thing then that was in my head, on top of the postage costs and all the rest of it, and people like to save money. Are we, and I suppose you've kind of partly answered the question, are we at the point yet where 3D printers are going to start hurting you, or is it that they hurt the big guy more? You know, do people still look at the likes of what you do and go, oh no, I really want to support Crooked Dice?
Again, it's tricky to tell. I've always tried to go from we do something you can't get anywhere else, maybe. And from a quality point of view, I'm hoping that, you know, we're up there, you know, the sculpture stuff that Ernst and Andrew and Ian and everyone and Mark are doing. There's still a level of creativity in there that you can't always completely kind of replicate at home. But if you're getting the files and you can do it, yeah, I don't know. I would love to have one for those bigger terrain pieces, but I literally just don't have the room or the time to do anything with them. But I guess it's the same things we've said before about the postage. Really, are you gonna? When does the price point start to affect customer loyalty? Really, you know, I'm really, really lucky that we've got a great community of people that kind of support us in there. But the prices for the figures pretty much stayed the same for the last 10 years, really. Try to price them at something which is not too affordable. If you look at a pack of our 4 figures compared to something that you could get from, I don't know, GW or somebody like that, hopefully they're fairly well priced.
Just remind.
What do you think? You think they're about right?
Yeah, your prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, you know, I wouldn't buy from you if you know, I wouldn't buy from you if it did. It didn't. It's
that's proof of the pudding there, then. Yeah.
But here's but from my point of view, and this is where I try to put my head in our foot. Sorry, just to respond to Justin here, with regards to how you print and price. Raise the resolution. Use a shell model rather than a solid model. So what I think he means there is sort of instead of like, you know, like them columns, instead of printing that as a solid piece of resin, print it as a hollow piece with a honeycomb kind of thing inside it. Fill that with resin and then make a silicone mold from it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the wonderful thing about it is that it can make shapes and constructions that you would just, again, resin-wise, would require multiple parts.
Okay. I want to scare you then.
Go on then.
Okay, this will take a couple of seconds to appear on your little screen. But once it appears...
Here it comes. I'm lagging a little bit behind, but I'm getting there. Suspense is killing me.
No.
I went in for, countless Kickstarters now. Hello. Yes, I've seen that fella before. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I think I've seen that one. Is that the Skull Forge one, or is that the... Oh, God, what are they called?
That is some Joe Blogs file of Thingiverse.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not. So
That's not the highest resolution that I can print at.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And again, now
Yeah.
he's a little bit chunkier, but not much chunkier.
To be fair, I like that in a figure anyway. If I was going to commission something, I would do the same. Okay. Let me see.
Again, I don't know. I don't know if there was. It's not a case of trying to scare you or anything like that. There, it was just to sort of see your feel on where the 3D printing was sitting in terms of you. But basically, at the minute, it's not nipping crooked dice. I don't honestly think it's nipping anybody yet.
No. I mean, I was looking at Skullforge Studios, and I had about 100 quid's worth of stuff in my basket before I'd even drawn a breath. To be honest with you, because there's some great stuff in there, and you can't get them from anywhere else really, which isn't a justification, but it's
yeah. I mean, I'm looking at now a couple of things that I've printed. Obviously, are rescaled. They're somebody else's files, but I've rescaled them, and I'm not trying to mass produce them or anything like that. I'm printing them out for my purpose. The print of the Mandalorian was to sort of say, well, what can this do? How good can I go here? Now, granted, that took about, I think, 11 and a half hours, 13 hours, something like that.
Okay.
Because it's like 15,000 layers. And I thought, who's going to wait for that? And then I thought, well, hang on, if I'm ordering that online, not that I think you can order them, but if I was ordering a miniature online, 2 to 3 days before it comes to me. It's 2 to 3 days.
It's going to be that time cost, the eternal time cost quality triangle, isn't it? As the technology gets better, and it either takes less time to print, or the quality improves for what you've got in there, and how much filament and all resin stuff is that going to?
That dude there was like 0.35 milliliters.
Which is, it sounds nothing, so I'm assuming that's nothing.
I guess so. It didn't read like an awful lot. If I was putting 0.35 milliliters of something into my cake mix, it wouldn't be an awful lot of liquid.
It's probably, let's put it this way, it's probably cheaper than 4 quid to buy a miniature from me of a similar size.
And a couple of quid postage. Or several quid now postage. See how that all knitted together? Postage costs, print. Look at us. Look at us.
It certainly, the lockdown where people can't get stuff and the normal postage routes have been closed. I mean, I've been lucky enough that we've been able to kind of keep going with stuff. But I've seen a bit of an upsurge in Kickstarters that are selling STLs, of which there were a lot to start off with. People showing their own 3D prints, saying, I've gone and bought one anyway, because why not? I need to pay postage on getting me Ender machine delivered. And doing it. So it's something I've been thinking about for a while. Most of the files that Ernst has produced for me in the last 4 years, probably 3 years, are all STLs. So it could get to a point. And I've seen other Alex from Warplock, from Arc World stuff, has just started doing a Patreon page where you're getting digital stuff. Patrick Keith from Bombshell. In fact, we announced this week he's done about 8 different pulp personalities. Well, I've agreed a license with him where I'm going to get those STLs. I'll print them high end and mold them up and cast them in white metal. So again, that's him making better use of the files that he's got and licensing out to other kind of manufacturers.
Yeah.
So it depends whether you are old school and like your white metal, or whether that material is getting to the point where it's perfectly fine as well. I get more and more questions now. Oh, they're not in plastic, or they're not in. Basically, why are you still using white metal with some younger people that kind of come into it?
Something's wrong with my figure. It arrived, but it appears to be made of Coke can.
Yeah, that's my kind of first go-to to do that, or resin for a bigger bit. But it's got a production cost to it. It'd be interesting to see how this lockdown situation kind of changes people's approach and feel about that. But within the next 5 years, like we did with home printing 20 years ago, there'll be that leap in technology where it jumps forward, where you can print your own cutlery and you can do that in 5 minutes at no cost. 2 of those things are already there.
Yeah.
probably the time and the material that might be a little bit more substantial.
Well, that seems to be Justin has chipped in again, and the reason, sorry, I defer to Justin. This is not only what he does kind of for a hobby. It's kind of what he does in work, because
Right.
they
I am
they
very very on the fact. I'm only kind of.
no, I'm the same, and that's why it's one of these things. And I'll come to the other point in a second. Machine cost, material cost, running cost, maintenance cost. Crooked Dice have now to be worried about, and I think he is right there. Like the Form 3 that's sitting with me, it's £120 at the best price for a litre of resin.
Oh, for a little, right? Okay, I thought you were going for kit. Right.
Oh no! It's at its best price. It's about £2.5 for the bit of kit. At its best price.
Right, okay.
At its normal price,
That's
it's about
high end one that you've got.
Yeah, but if you shop around, you'd get it for about 2.5. Normal price off the shelf is about 5k.
Wow. Okay.
Then, if you want to get fancy, you need the UV bath for it, which is about 600. Or you go the alcohol solution manual way, which is like 40 quid. And then you need a curing station for it, which is about nearly £700.
Okay, so it's really high end premier kind of.
And the printer bed, which has a lifetime, is about £120 too.
Oh, has that got a finite use on it as well?
Yeah, they reckon about 35 litres of resin. Because it's this wobbly film. So your printer head comes down and descends on that and pushes it, and then your actual laser's kind of underneath, and it's jumping up through this rubber sheet. Well, rubber sheet's too fancy. It's like cling film nearly. And as it point contacts the liquid resin pool, it starts build. It's like dark magic to watch it. It is like something out of 40k as this thing ascends out of the pool and drips clear, and suddenly you start to see it taking shape. And it's just like, yeah, you know what? I can now believe in dark magic again.
You're one step away from your replicator, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if this thing could make burgers, I'd actually be more interested. I think at the minute there is this novelty thing. It's certainly what I'm feeling, and chatting to a couple of people, it seems to be, I can print this. It's not actually even I want to, or I need to.
It's the fact that you can create.
I can do it. It's the end scene from Terminator 2 in reversal. Yeah. I'm building Terminators. But yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there with the files for a chain sword. And I'm trying to work out how much.
A lot of cosplayers use stuff.
Yeah, how much resin is that going to cost them? Well, the best thing that I've done. Oh no, it's not sitting here. I've done the Mirror Universe badge, but this again leads itself rather nicely into why I couldn't be arsed printing all this stuff or copying yours. And why I think for a lot of people, aside from the cost, because nothing quite beats a box arriving at your door. And when you open it, there's things in it.
I like it with a big terrain, but I'd still much prefer to commission that from a proper model maker than I would to get that print out. I mean, for things like, if I wanted the streets of Lothal, for example, which I do, I just saw some nice stuff this week, and you can't just replicate that kind of building and that sort of shape easily.
No.
Out of materials in there, so it's absolutely got its place.
Oh, but I think the intrinsic laziness of the hobbyist. Look at how much stuff we have that's not painted, and I think that and the cost will keep 3D printing out of the fight for a long time, because getting a parcel with things like this in it is still too damn exciting.
I know what you mean. There's nothing more exciting than a parcel turning up at whatever time.
No, there's not. I mean, yes, I could sit here and go, in 15 hours, I'm going to have 24 figures. Or I can sit here going, has the postman been? Has the postman been? Yay, he's been.
What's the most exciting bit of the Kickstarter? It's not playing the game. It's not watching the total go. It's when the box arrives. It never comes out of the box. But that's the kick that you're getting. That's when you're getting the rush, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, look, box of stuff. Brilliant. Put that in the cupboard. Never play it.
Yeah. I've got it now. I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah. I've passed that. I've moved on.
I'm just going to rattle through some stuff here. This will probably end up coming onto your screen slightly late, but you'll catch what I'm talking about by what I'm saying.
Giant globe in front of me.
So we've got the globe. That is just magnificent.
You know that's a Christmas bauble in the heart of that.
If I crack this open, I'll actually get a Christmas bauble.
Yeah, it's like a Kinder egg. There's a chocolate and a surprise in there.
I'll be so disappointed if you've lied.
Andrew McLachlan made that, and that is an absolute sod to cast. To be absolutely honest with you, if you were going to 3D print something, that would be the sort of thing to 3D print because it's a big one. It's a bit of an awkward shape. Andy Ainsley hates me for every time I order more of them because it's a sod to get out of a mould.
Justin's asking, Carl, is it possible to get high in the smell of fresh resin and white metal?
I've long said I love the smell of Ainsley in the morning. It's there's a smell to Ainsley resin that I really, really still like.
These
okay, the table there.
Yeah, the retro desk. That is just. I'm not sure. My brain immediately goes. It's like something out of UFO or something like that. There.
Remember I kind of wanted to get those weird sort of James Bond kind of shapes.
I think the 60s where design just went weird. And then we have another one here. See, nobody really read the small detail. No, we were going to do a little bit of unboxing this morning as well. So this, I think, is the security desk.
Yeah, yeah, okay. It's a security desk. I'm still seeing the other one in there, so I'm slightly behind.
All right.
The big thing.
Yeah, because your other one, I just noticed there as well, he appears to have like a pen and a pen holder or something and a note on the desk, which is kind of cute. The security desk looks like it's got a half-eaten donut.
Yes.
It is a half-eaten donut and a little tea set. There's a little coffee jug or something on a basket, on a tray.
Or a catch on a glass or something on there as well, I think.
The skull's a little bit out of place. I think this is evil.
Yeah, I think, skulls are evil.
Okay, so. Yeah. Boss, all our badges have skulls on them. Are we the baddies?
Right.
But that's a nice bit of kit. Now, my favourite fell out of the bag. Here it is now. This here. And you've actually got me looking. I think I can print the rest to go with this. Captain Kirk! The
executive chair.
The executive chair from the command base.
I've thought about making a kind of an executive table where maybe people put on trial or just sit around and kind of have a little chat, or maybe one where you could transport to another planet. And those little constants are quite cute.
That would be exceptionally good. I have actually been looking at someone who has designed the whole
shebang,
bridging matter of that topic, and yeah, it's nice. It would be the same idea as my little TARDIS interior set, but that's just
that little chair there. I mean, you can see the arse cheeks of a captain and have been on that. It makes it all the more exciting.
Yeah. It's I'm saying nothing else because it would just be inappropriate. Sticking with furniture. These are class. Now, funnily enough, these bizarrely go with your executive chair perfectly.
Okay.
If there were two people sitting in front of someone in that executive chair.
Oh, yes, okay.
In charge of where he was going, everyone else on that floor would be sitting on those style of chairs.
Yes, right, I'm seeing them now. Now, these were originally in resin. These are from Pigeon Guard Games, who do some basically prisoner terrain in there and various bits and pieces. They do like the info mat and the telephone kiosk. And I stocked those and put them out. But the resin stuff that they originally gave me was just, I was getting some breakages and bits. So I basically offered to say, look, would you mind me casting those up in resin for you? So they're nice little bits, the globe chair and the bucket chairs, tulip chairs.
Yeah, tulip chairs are a winner.
Yeah, they're really cute.
Even at that, that's a winner. Right, we'll send them boldly over there. Yeah, we've got the ball chair here. So
yes.
It's the Crooked Dice IKEA outlet.
I'm now going to start manufacturing those at 1-to-1 scale. If I could have one of those that I could sit in here when we're talking, no, that's it. Or one that I could hang from the ceiling. Those ones, the good 60s ones like that, but with a
garden centres do a wicker version.
Made out of wicker.
Yeah, but then you could cover it in, like, I don't know, resin or something, or you could 3D print a shell for it.
One of those. Yeah.
So those are class. These here, I had totally missed when I first opened the box. The little CCTV cameras.
Yes. Yeah, we've had those for a while. Ernst has done those. So again, I could sell those as STLs if I wanted to.
Those are just beezer.
Yeah, cute, aren't they?
I might put a few up around the house. I don't know if they'll actually deter anyone, but you know.
You buy them in, they'll be fine.
Yeah, at least they're eco-friendly. They don't use much electric. This is just silly. You're a silly man. The skull chair. No one's going to advertise they're that evil.
You don't have to. If you're sitting in the skull chair, people know.
People know you're evil. I almost wish there were two little skulls just there and there, because I could have used it as a chair for the Phantom then as well. I might have to glue two little skulls on myself.
Kind of the. I mean, I know it's got a bit of a a leatherette thing. Often there's a sort of seating that you see on a garden lounger, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just for comfort. Just because he's evil doesn't mean he doesn't want it to be comfortable.
I now see it. I now see the garden chair. And
if you put some nice flowers on that, will go down the tree.
You madman.
I'm an genius, but I need back support.
You might be. This here, again, this is the sort of thing I get excited about. You see, when it's just a little thing, Trump's secret chair.
we never see behind the desk, because it was on the back of that chair that he sits in.
Yeah.
I think I'm
sitting on a comfy chair. I personally think his chair probably has a hole in the seat and a bucket underneath it. It's just when you're really busy, you don't have time to go to the oval latrine. Yeah, this is very much Goldfinger. I know you can't.
The atomic bomb in Fort Knox.
Yes.
Ernst did a little for one of the Pulp Kickstarters. He did a little. I wanted a time bomb, basically, like an atomic device, and he did that to start off with, and it was a bit big, so we shrunk it into kind of more of a stand-up cylinder. But we had that one, so I just cast it up in resin.
Sorry, Ernst designed this.
Yes,
but the humour value of that's completely wasted in you, isn't it?
No, so I just realised what you're doing there. I've caught up. Yes.
Yeah, Ernst Blofeld. Send me the right people. Now these are a newbie for you. These are one of your new things, and it's not some sort of tablet that you're going to get at the nightclubs. These are bulkhead lights.
Oh God, yeah. That's all the Pargilon stuff. I've had those, the strip lights, and the other vents for absolutely ages. And I was kind of waiting to do something with them. I thought, we've got the Secret Base back out again. They're quite good. I quite like that they just sort of, you can position them over the little interlocking joints that you get in the MDF to hold it over, to hide those, so it's a bit cleaner.
Yeah.
So they'll be cool for that.
Those are just class.
Little bits there, and you got there's some strip lights in there, and there's a couple of different sets of vents. I think I've probably sent you as well with any.
Yeah, well, we're coming to them, but I mean, anyone that's done like Sir tables or has circuit, there is a couple of Sir terrain kits going. I mean, I'm sort of even thinking the guys that are into their bolt action and stuff like that. You guys need to get these. These are just class. Just that little. It's like the cameras. It's the and fun enough, one of the fellas posted on the page the other day, Skeletor needs his comfort. Yeah, they're loving that chair. Carl, make Dillinger's table from Tron, please.
Yeah.
It's the little details, but it's like Andrew Torrance said, are we in danger? When does this stop being a hobby and we just admit we're playing with dolls' houses?
Yeah, oh God, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's those. I saw someone do a really, really nice conversion. Oh, well, not a build, basically, of the 20mm Sarista church.
Yes.
And it was beautiful. And then he just put by the front door a little church notice board with a couple of little bits, like little posters up there. and it made such a difference to the overall thing. Those little detailing bits, and that's what I like about all this stuff. Really,
Yeah.
it just takes the flatness off and just breaks it up a little bit.
Yeah,
So you've got seen you unpacking the ventilation grills. I mean, what hero is not going to crawl through one of those without access via ventilation grill? Basically,
no. And I mean, I look at these in my head and I just think, okay, you know what? No matter what my terrain is, I put a little magnet on these or put a little metal sheet on the back of these and magnetize bits of my wall. I can have these vents wherever I want. I can change where they are for the table for a scenario.
I know in the very first. Do you remember when we were at Salute one time and we had the kind of the secret base with the shark tank and the bits and pieces?
Oh Lord, yes.
That was built by Paul Smith, and one of the great things in one of the back of the rooms that he had was grills like that on the wall, and then a little tiny ventilation tunnel that you could just about get a figure in to go in the back, you know. And I'd love to do that as little dividing bits between things.
Brilliant. Yeah, you see, Duffy and I love having options to make terrain do more for you to get absolute value out of it. And I just love bits like that.
Any MDF kit, you know, whether it's your strontium dog kind of little building set that they get with that, you know, slap a vent on it or a bulk key light on it, and it'll just change it up a little bit, won't it? So.
And just gives you more store options. Now, talking about MDF kits, you're the one that segued nicely that time.
Look at me!
Look at you flying like a thing. Now, this is one of the figure bids kits, isn't it?
What you got there? That's they're originally figure bits, and I probably need to change the website, but yeah, they're what you got there. That looks to me like a quad data bank.
It is, I believe, a quad data bank, which through the artistry of me possibly knowing what the heck I'm doing, if I go to here and press a button, I might actually be able to show people that done right. Yes, I can actually. No, watch this. How's this? There's the secret base, but we'll come back to that. There is the quad data bank. I think. Is that the oh no, that's not the quad data bank. I'm a bad boy. Sorry, 1 second. That's the quad data bank, isn't it? Yeah, let's say yes.
Okay, just seen a picture of the secret base kind of pop up there now,
and it should disappear to be replaced by the wrong thing, and that should be
that's the cooling panel.
Yep, and then we should have the computer terminal.
So there are basically so that's the first one on is a double one. So you've got single, double, triple, and quad. So they've just got 1, 2, 3, or 4 faces of little spinning. That'll mean nothing to the young people out there.
No, they'll be looking at that and going, "What's that about?" I look at these and I immediately think of the Italian Job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Benny Hill.
So yeah, there's little MDF kits because they kind of suit themselves quite nicely to that, and might have some new pictures soon actually. Because I'm getting a whole new range of consoles, which I think we talked about the other week, didn't we? The kind of the big world map, and some other bits and pieces, which will be new resin kits, which will come up for that as well. So,
sorry, I hate choosing what scenery to build as I like it all. So I've settled on building the Crystal Maze. Carl, any chance of a Richard O'Brien miniature?
I've wanted to do that for a long while. I've almost wanted to do a Richard O'Brien pack in all his many guises. Well, 3 guises probably, but I think that'd be really good. Gulnar, you see, we cover him as that as well.
Bunk beds. I've just found bunk beds.
I was slightly out of stock, so in your little care package that you got, I don't know whether you've got bunk beds.
I did.
Did you get some?
Yeah, I got a set of bunk beds. I didn't even know what these were because I've held off opening this until today so that I could get excited with you.
Yeah, they're quite good. I like when you kind of get a mix of 2 things. So you've got a MDF frame to it, and then on the top of it, it's got kind of like the mattresses and the bed rolls.
Yeah.
And you get the best of both worlds, then.
Yeah, because if you don't glue those on, then again what you're doing, those bed rolls suddenly go on the floor, and it's people sheltering in the apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
The apocalypse, which you also do. See. Here, how's your intern working out?
Yeah, Dan's been with me all this week. It's been good. He's been kind of, because we're doing it obviously remotely at the moment, it's been more kind of us getting together and having a chat about how things work, how I do things, the stuff that he's interested in, like game design. He's sat in on a couple of sessions with me and Peter as we've been building and checking all the new profiles for fantasy. He sat in on a games design session on Thursday as we were working through the new Secrets of Golden City pulp campaign pack about how we write episodes and how we kind of took it from an idea and tweak things around. So it's been good. He's doing, Paul Bunger's had some proofreading to do for me for the last couple of days because he's looking over all of the cards for fantasy. Because when they go back, hopefully when they go back next year, they'll have playtesting. So I want to give them the physical components that they can check over and they can scroll over and stuff. So he's doing that. They'll go to print it next week. Cool. Yeah, it's been good. Got another week next week. Same again, really.
Excellent. We're nearly there on your new bit. Well, not all new bits. That's the little turret set. Just see again. I finished with the beds, so I talked about Apocalypse. Now I've moved on to the Apocalypse. I don't know how I do this. Sometimes I almost impress myself, and then I go and mess it all up again. These are class for 12 quid. I've got to say, there's an awful lot of stuff in here. 3 turrets and all the weapons and the little operators that you could want, and some bits and pieces. Yeah,
you'll have some spare weapons there on the sprues that you can put on other cars as well. But they've got that, and then they've got the kind of like the gunner's shield in front of it. So tire burster, some harpoons in there, little flamer, couple of machine guns. In there, they're good because you can literally just pop them on the top of any other kind of 148th, 150th kind of vehicle, or in theory you could even put it onto a little tower or something if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you could make like gate sentry posts for your shanty town or whatever. Yeah, no, those are really nice. Again, the detail and the impact from the bullets and whatnot. That's stuff that I used to remember doing, but getting your little drill out and hand doing all that. And now there you go. Cool. You've saved me being lazy by putting them into things for me.
Well, you can kind of still do that, because the Apocalypse stuff particularly. I mean, we all did that with Gorka Morka, didn't we? And kind of, chop their little bits and pieces up. But it's.
But you're doing all the thinking for us. The last 2 wee bits which tie themselves in with the Apocalypse there is obviously that's the stowage for the Interceptor now.
Yeah.
And the spiky bits which can go on any vehicle really. So again, I mean the stowage, I know it's for the Interceptor, but there's 4 different bits there, so you're getting a bit for your Interceptor or you're going to magnetize them, but you can stick them into whatever you want really.
Yeah, the Interceptor car, basically the trunk or boot of it has got a recess where you can basically swap those in and out.
Yeah.
So from the basic kit, we kind of wanted it modular up to a point. So you got that. I think there's a spoiler in that kit as well, if I remember rightly. And then there's just wheels and stuff.
Yep. So there's kind of movie styled and bits to put in there, or just sort of stowage and kit ammunition. Well, that's if he's a fuel runner, I suppose. That one's if he's an ammo runner. That one's if he's got a small monkey with a machine gun to stand in the back.
Yeah.
And the nitro tanks. So no, those are lovely. Well, that's all your shiny bits.
Everything out your box now.
Hmm?
Is that everything out your box now?
That's my box has all been displayed on screen.
Well, Martin from Warbases, happy birthday again, Martin. Will be sending you a lovely big box of MDF. So that'll have the secret base kit in it, and it'll have a firing range, and it'll have a cell block.
Well, funny enough, because that is just appearing on screen for people now. It'll take a few seconds for reality to catch up with where we are on it. But yeah, this is one of the things, folks, that Carl and I have chatted about. We were going to do. I used to hate the smell of laser cut MDF. Sorry, this is another comment. I like to try and respond to people here. Gary Primer, a couple of them would look great on converted shipping containers. Yeah, you could convert a shipping container into. I think he's talking about the gun turrets there.
Yeah.
And I used to hate the smell of laser cut MDF. Now it smells like unlimited possibility. I know exactly what he means. It is the smell of adventure waiting to happen. But no, Cara and I were chatting. Originally, we were going to work together with a few other people to do a little bit of a virtual online kind of event. And really then COVID-19 kind of brought everyone out of their box and everyone started doing it. And it wasn't a case of, well, sour grapes. And we thought, we like to do something that's going to matter and contribute. And the secret base brought into my head the issue of secret lives and hidden things, and of course, one of those things being depression, which I'm painfully aware with a lot of hobbyists is an issue. And some people engage in the hobby to deal with it, to hide from it, to mask it, to make it feel better, a little bit of hobby therapy. So one of the things that Carl and I chatted about was, well, it hasn't arrived yet, as he's just said, but this Saturday, probably Saturday week rather than this Saturday coming, we are going to try and do a live stream. Carl isn't going to be on it all day. He's going to pop in a few times to talk about the secret base and things like that. I'm going to try and get a few other people to come on and talk with us. But over the course of, we're allowed 12 hours thanks to YouTube, but over the course of the stream, we will attempt to build the entire of the secret base and all the MDF bits and goodies that go with it.
Yeah.
As a sort of a time challenge. Let's get this done, and hopefully you lovely folks will be amused and entertained as I struggle to try and squeeze in pee breaks and eat sandwiches with fingers covered in PVA glue. That you will hopefully contribute a few bob to a little bit of a charity throw in for depression. We are still just trying to finalise which organisation we can work with on that, but that is the hope there to do that. And at the same time, exemplify for you all the secret base. And at that stage, Carl will talk more about the idea behind it, how it came about, what you can use it for in games. So he'll kind of come on and talk real world stuff and be all the consummate professional. And I'll sit there being mopey and possibly swearing a little bit. But we'll hopefully be joined by a few others who over the course of the day will chat about how the hobby is a little bit of therapy for them. If you're watching it, feel free to chip in with your own thoughts, your own experiences. And it's just to try and, at this time, there's everything is pushing on people. There's pressures from every direction. And there's a lot of things being forgotten about. And one of the things that we think is going to be a fallout from this whole lockdown is, of course, the issue of mental health, which even before this wasn't really being looked at properly. People weren't being helped properly. So it's just trying to do our bit to raise the profile on that. So if you tune in, we will post up in good time when we're actually going to do it. It'll not, as I say, probably be this Saturday, but it looks like it might be the Saturday after that, and that gives us time to shout at you all to come and support it and get your PayPal payments ready. And even if you look at it and think, oh, I don't care about depression or whatever, you'll hopefully look at, there's the secret base coming up on your screens painted. You'll hopefully look at this and go, well, that's really awesome. You know what? I'm going to just go and order some of that stuff from Carl.
Yeah, that's the new firing range that I'm seeing popping up there, which is just out. So that's the basic, the whole thing's modular, basically, as you'll find out. So there you go. There's a nice painted one in there. So it's got little kind of connectors in there, and then the wall slot into that. That was the basic one, and then the idea is that we've got the other kits now that you can basically bolt onto it and grow it as you need to. So,
yeah, it should be very good. It's off your page.
That's the what is that? Oh yeah, I just realised that is my house.
Yeah, of course it's your house. You posted the picture.
Did I? Well, yeah, no, there's a lot of things happening. That's using the excellent Halfords palette, that is, yes. So I'm just spray painting that one. But I also clad the wall sometimes in little bits of plastic card, just to kind of like change up. And I think I'll put some plastic card floors in there as well. So you can have fun with it. And the new bits that you got, you can clad it with various stuff in there.
Yeah, but don't tell them all about it today. You've got to keep something. You know how you struggle for content.
Shut up, Carl.
You couldn't even pad 30 seconds last week while I went and got my coffee.
I just dried up. I didn't know
they're all looking at me and I can't even see them. Mad idiots. But yeah, And that's it. So, what about campaign against living miserably, Cam Charlie? Well, this is all open for debate, and I'm posting it in the chats one way, or you could have just waited to come offline and ring me because that's Simon. Um, no, we are following up a couple, and Rory from the Red Knight has been very good to try and get in touch with a couple because he deals in those kind of circles all the time as well. So we will hopefully nail that down this week. And of course, the last topic was working for 12 hours, probably myself cutting a hole in the seat and putting a bucket underneath it for that day. Brought me nicely.
The audio on that.
Yeah, I can mute, but we've got so much better at that. Maybe I'll keep it in. Cornish pasty, is that the way to go for my 12-hour stint choosing food?
There's a ballast there. You're getting a mix of things in every bite, aren't you?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm thinking if I've got glue or indeed mayo, as Grey Primer says, if I've got mayo in my hands.
Mix the food, because otherwise it's going to take a lot longer than 12 hours for that to glue together. It doesn't stick.
Yeah. I think he meant in terms of me eating. Am I eating PVA or mayo? But I was sort of thinking it doesn't matter what I end up with my hands because you're kind of eating a Cornish pasty and it's that bit of pastry. You can't goop out what you need and then just chuck it in the bin.
Yeah. Could you not in advance just blend all of your foods together and just just drink them, all of your nutrition?
Do you know what? I've tried liquefied steak one time just to see how the nursing homes kind of cope, and it's not a good experience. It's really not a good experience. Moonbase alpha, but it could be all sorts of things. So I'm talking to you and also replying. Oh look, headlights. Headlights. Oh look, headlights. Headlights. As we both stare at the screen. What?
Really?
I don't know where he's coming with the headlights thing. Yeah.
You mean the box headlights?
Maybe. But it's quite late in the day for him to be commenting them. He's normally on the ball. So yeah, I could go for the whole liquid thing. By the way, never tried liquidized steak.
No, I don't think I would ever think of ordering that from the menu.
Even warm, it's not good.
I will stop at Angel Delight, I think. And then, that's as mushy as I want to get. I'm
thinking about making a bowl of jelly and, fun enough, a bowl of Angel Light, or making a bowl of jelly and putting a bowl of Angel Light on top of that for like my sugar intake through it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking Cornish pasty because I can just dump the stuff and I've got a full crate of 24 Coke Zeros ready to back me up as well.
I don't know about mental health. I think you may need to be stomach pumped by the end of it after 12 hours of just kind of doing that as well. You'll have an ambulance on call.
If after 12 hours I've only eaten like a pint bowl of Jello and Angel Delight, a Cornish pasty and 24 Coke Zeros, I think I'll be all right.
I just said at the end of 12 hours, just slightly hysterical, just spooning jelly into your mouth.
I'm supposed to be building a base. I'm making it out of potato.
Looking into the screen, help me!
They're watching me. Yeah, you'll log in towards the end of it, going, Andy, it's time to turn it off now. Stocks.
Oh, my top turned on your head, wearing it. I'm the king of the internet.
Climbing into the 3D printer, I'm going to shrink myself so I can live in my secret base. Is it true by the way that the old 10th Doctor miniature is actually your face?
God no.
Apparently when people post up pictures of the 10th Doctor mini, Otto tries to tag them as you. The facial recognition.
I did see that. Well, I mean, unless Andy at Heresy was feeling particularly excitable that day, I don't quite know. I think he did that well before I ever spoke to him. I don't think so. There is that mine and Graham's faces are on 2 minis in the Crooked Dice collection. I think I've said this before.
Yes,
I just wondered.
I just wondered, was this a thing that you've done where you've sneaked yourself into other people's miniature lines
without them knowing?
Yeah, I don't know how you've done it. It's impressive. You should get one of those and make it your profile pic, and people wonder how it is just tagged as you, because that would be class.
The wonderful Mr. Kevin Dallimore did get at one point. I don't know if it might be Mark Copplestone sculpted his head with glasses on and his ponytail in there, and then he's got cast up loads of his heads, and he then puts them on other models, which I think is wonderful. Every now and again, you'll get a new Kevin like on a Space Marine or on a on loads of them. It's
that's it. You should do the bonus Carl head. Twig, there we go. Carl's filler segment last week. Deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
I see. I've caught up now. Yes.
Yeah.
What do I do? Don't leave me.
Andy, come back. I can still hear you.
Wilson.
Just show them a picture of fantasy and go away. Not that kind of fantasy. Right, speaking about going away, dude, you should really go away. Yeah, because you've got stuff to do. Boys and girls, men, women and children, to the lifeboats first. It's time you got on with your Saturdays. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Hopefully some of it was interesting. Hopefully some of it was amusing. It was certainly more organised and sensible than our normal fare.
Kept on track. I didn't randomly take us off. I didn't segue too much this week.
No, I should have maybe got up and gone and get a cup of coffee just to have those few seconds of your bewildered wee face kind of sitting there like a wilted flower again. We'll maybe do that next week. Kids, look after yourselves. Everyone be good. It's goodbye from me. And he's not even going to speak to you. That's how little he cares. And it's goodbye from him. Goodbye.